One of the things that you discussed with President Biden when you met here in New York was this potential deal to normalize relations with Saudi Arabia. We heard from the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. He says he believes that talks are getting closer. How close do you think that they are?
I'm going to plagiarize. I'll say that every day we get closer.
And how close are you today?
Closer than we were yesterday.
Do you feel that a deal is likely?
I think it's possible. I think it's likely because I think Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the United States share a common goal to change history, to make this quantum leap, another quantum leap for peace. We had one with the Abraham Accords, with the United States, and we now have an opportunity with the United States to change the Middle East forever, to create not only to bring down the walls of enmity, but also to create a corridor of energy pipelines, rail links, fiber optic cables between Asia, through Saudi Arabia, Jordan and Israel, and the United Arab Emirates. This is an amazing change, and I'm always careful about these things. I'd never exaggerate. I think this is a pivot of history.
But of course, any deal with Saudi would require something in exchange for the Palestinians. What significant concessions are you willing to make to them?
I don't think it's an exchange. I think they can benefit from this peace. And I think they made a mistake in not joining the Abraham Accords and just, keeping themselves out of it. I think they'd be much wiser to enter this and see how they could be part of the process. Part of the process doesn't mean that they have a veto power over the process, because if they'll have a veto power over the process, if they had one, in the case of the Abraham Accords, we'd never have had the Abraham Accords, and we'd go for another quarter of a century without peace. So no veto power.
That's what you're not willing to do. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to give the Palestinians specifically?
Well, these are the things that I discuss in discrete forums. In order to get something, a real result, it's much better to bring the entire package at one time. But I will say this, and I think it's important. I think that making peace with Saudi Arabia and basically beginning to end the Arab-Israeli conflict will also help us end the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. And I think that's what people miss out. They think, oh no, you have to first conclude the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and then go to the Arab world, what is called the inside-out approach. I think it's the outside-in approach that has a much greater chance to end both sets of conflicts, with the Arab states and with the Palestinians.
But what is on the table? Is it opening the U.S. consulate, reopening it in East Jerusalem for Palestinians? Is it freezing the settlements on the West Bank and areas that are earmarked for them? I mean, are those things that are on the table in your view?
Well, first of all, whatever's on the table, I will not jeopardize Israel's national interests and our security, but I also will not jeopardize success by speaking about it publicly, even on CNN.